Lital, thanks so much. So, the point of the interview is that we are working to showcase some of our amazing volunteers, mentors, coaches, and as such, you sprung to mind immediately. And so, first and foremost, from the entire BizWorld team, thank you so much for like everything you do and just your participation in our programs.
Thank you. It's my family now. We're a big, big family, big loving family. So yeah, I feel like a family member.
That's wonderful. How long have you been involved with BizWorld for?
I think it has been 8 years or nine, so it's been a while.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's been
great.
a while, but it went so fast. It's
Uh-huh.
always so much fun, and I think where you get to impact people that you care about, and
Mm.
you know that even the employees work from the heart, then it's so much easier just to give, and create this
Yeah.
human connection. I'm loving it.
That's wonderful. I love that you say that you can feel that the employees work from the heart, and that sort of makes it easier to support BizWorld, to be a mentor, all the above, huh?
Yeah, I think it's mandatory when you connect as a volunteer, when you create a connection as a volunteer. To me, that this is the core value. You have to work with people that really care about the mission. Like that's where I want to be. Because if the employees don't care about the mission, this is like an emotional contingency, right? So I will
Yeah.
not probably care as
Yeah,
much. So
sure.
they care so much, they make it so easy for me to care and help and keep giving back.
That is so great. Do you remember how you first found BizWorld? How you first got connected? Like I said, 9 years ago.
Yes, I remember. So I had a public speaking session with Amparo. She's
Mm.
one of the most amazing human beings on earth. She worked for Yes Bees World for many, many years, and she's still part of Yes Bees World. And she was a guest speaker in something that I did. And as part of it, as a public speaker, as a public speaking coach, I gave her some tips and tools on how to captivate her audience in
Oh,
our event. And then she was sharing about Yes Bees World, and she said, maybe you want to be part, you want to take part. Just so actually, she was the first one, first or second one that actually gave me the opportunity to give my workshop, my public speaking workshop in English. So
wow, no
she
way.
believed in me as well. So until that point, that was something that I scared of. I'm like, can I teach Americans like public speaking? This is a joke, right? The immigrant in me was screaming, really. And she gave me the opportunity, and I said, I'm good as much, in English as much as in Hebrew. So
Sure.
open the door to one another since then. Moving
Wow,
on.
that's great. So it was an outside event that Ampara was also speaking at, and you gave her some tips there, and of course you all got to connecting, and then she told you about BizWorld and invited you to come be a speaker and coach for some of the young entrepreneurs, huh? And wow, first
Yes,
opportunity to coach in English.
yeah. I don't know if she's aware of it even, but it was a big deal for me.
Well, she's going to be aware of it now. That's for sure. So, no, I appreciate you sharing. I love to hear all these like background stories. And that's the point of a lot of these interviews is to draw out stories that, a lot of us aren't even familiar with, sort of the behind the scenes type of stuff, right?
Right.
Wonderful. Well, Latal, before we dive deep into biz world stuff, tell me a little bit about your business. You can even throw some of your own professional background in if you want to, but I want to take a second that we're going to be spotlighting you and your work in the newsletter, social media, stuff like that.
Sure. So I'm all about human connection. Communication means human connection for me. This is not only my job, it's my vocation. And it sounds like a slogan, but I don't mind because it's true. And I teach people how to become fascinating speakers, how to understand the audience psychology, what's going on as an audience while people listen and you want to create this engagement with them and make them take actions upon your suggestions. So I work with many entrepreneurs from all around the world. I work with big companies like Google, eBay, Tinder, VMware, you name it, I was probably there. I work with Yes BizWorld with the young entrepreneurs, and I work as a communication coach at the GSB, Graduate School of Business at Stanford University. So I'm all about communication 360.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. I'm trying to take notes as fast as I humanly can. I love this. That's so your work is your is vocation, right? Communication coach, all about human connection. How does I think that's so fascinating, right? That you boil it down to human connection. And so how can somebody when they're giving, let's just say a public speech, be connecting human to human, especially when it's like it could be a big audience, right? How do you do that?
Right. I think it started with you, and it will sound weird in the beginning, but it's important because it's part of my vocation and my calling. Many people, when they need to stand on stages and speak and express themselves, they feel like a raisin. They step into the raisin mode. You feel small. I feel every day, probably. I have
Right.
those when I shrink, when I feel small, when I feel that, maybe unloved, or I don't want to take any responsibility. I don't want to meet with people, as funny as it sounds. I just want to watch TV all day long, eat everything I have in my kitchen, and just do nothing. I have those days, but there are some certain situation that you need to step into your lion and lioness mode because it's a must. So number one, we have to understand that nobody is going to hire us if we come as raisins. Nobody is going to go on a second date with us if we come in as raisins. Nobody is going to listen us, follow our leadership presence if we come as raisins. So there are some situation that it's very crucial for me to help people express their lion and lioness mode. And it's not easy. So basically, I think it's just an excuse to actually become the best speaker that you can, but it's mostly helping people express themselves. And when you express yourself, sometimes you expose yourself to a potential pain. What if they won't love me? What if they won't listen to me? What if they won't want to invest in me? What if I feel sense of rejection? So the potential pain takes you to fight, flight, or freeze so many times. So I feel that because I felt it was very challenging for me, my younger self, to express myself fully without the fear of being unwanted or conditioned. So I really wanted to give people the courage that they're welcome in these situations and help them to step into their lion and lioness mode. And it's not easy, but there are some, different tools, and one of them is physical tools, how you move your body, how you take space. And especially remember that if it's a must, it's a must. You have no choice. As long as you feel that you have a choice to become a raisin, sometimes the game is over. It's a game over. And I want them to be successful. That's why I'm fighting for them so much.
That's wonderful. Wow, how interesting. I like this last piece that you said, if you make it a must, right, then you don't have the option to be a raisin, right? If you tell yourself, if you can emotionally convince yourself that you must present yourself as this lion or lioness, right, then the other options sort of go out the window. And then teaching
Right.
people how to express themselves, work through these emotions, like
Right.
that's
Right.
super, super, super interesting.
And accept the raisin mode. And there is a time to be a raisin. That's very important to know. Every day we need to make sure we have some time and space to be a raisin. But when we need to present, now our people listen to us potentially because the audience is and it doesn't sound very well, but it's true. Audience is very egocentric, self-centered creature as a whole.
Sure.
Researchers show that you have up to 3 minutes top if they'll give you a chance and keep listening to you and being engaged with you or disengage them from you. So the only question that we need to ask ourselves as speakers, number one question is, what's in it for them? What's in it for my audience? Because the audience will ask, what's in it for me? Why should I listen? Because people hate wasting their time. So if you waste someone else's time, you can't really pay for the time now or give the time back now. So you better make sure that you give them something.
That's such a great tip. I hope that people like heard that specifically, right? From the beginning, what's in it for them? And what's this that you said? You said it's like we have about 3 minutes. Is that sort of before the audience has already made a finite decision about us?
Exactly. They will make a decision. That's it.
Well,
And we need two things to happen. We need them to like us as human beings, that they would want to create a connection, form connection with us, even if it's theoretically speaking, not really become our friends, but they need to like us and then they need to trust us. Then they will listen to their intuition. Okay, if I like this person, this speaker, and I trust what they tell me, okay, I better listen. So we need two things to happen very quickly. And this is what I teach. How to
it's
make them like
wow.
you and love you very quickly.
Like you, love you, trust you very quickly, especially when you're pitching, like right with like especially like these young entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you teach others how to pitch as well, not just as speaking on stage. Are there some sort of primary things that you're more passionate right now about speaking about? Let's just say that if somebody was seeing this and they wanted to go look up more or wanted to talk to you about working with you, are there some more specific finite things that you're working on right now that you could share?
Of course. So they can always contact me, reach out to me. I love when people reach out to me and I answer each and every one because I really love it. I spend a lot of time, especially after giving speeches, workshops, training. Then people usually reach out on LinkedIn, which is the best way. Either LinkedIn or my website. That's the best way. And you can see my website name. I think it's there, Core
Yep,
by
yep.
Lital. Also, you can find me on LinkedIn. I always, happy to answer. I do one-on-ones, also group settings and large audiences. I'm open to hear, open to different possibilities. And if they only have a question, just something that they're curious about, feel free. I will be happy to answer.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. I'm sure everybody's going to greatly appreciate it. I kind of hope that we flood your inbox with a bunch of questions. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be amazing.
So, Lital, one of the things that we're sort of working on is, of course, getting more volunteers and more mentors, right? And so I'm curious, like to you, what's the importance of mentorship? And did you ever have a mentor coach yourself earlier on in your career?
I always have people in my career because I'm always open my ears and I have open signals. It's like radio signals. If someone said something smart, someone said I can go to a lecture. So we don't have to work one-on-one. Always open my ears, my eyes to different opportunities, different information, different data that comes in, and I'm like, okay, this is
Mhm.
something important. And what I do is I also take courses at Stanford University. This is one of my privileges that I can take courses, which is amazing. So I took strategic communication with Professor Matt Abraham. Now I'm going to take another course about winning writing by Professor Glenn. So to me, these are like really important big mentors in my life, but everyone can be a mentor. Every conversation you can have some jewels there, some diamonds that you can take away with you. We need to be open. But as mentors, I think what's important is that number one, it's really good for us as well. You know that the highest level of happiness is when you give to someone else and then you can see the impact. That's the
Uh,
level of the highest level of happiness, and it's proved. So I'm like, if you want to support your well-being, become a mentor, but it has to be meaningful for you. So don't just become a mentor for something you don't find meaning. So if you find a meaning to help someone and then you can see the result, you can witness the result, and it's like to me, it's like giving them oxygen. And then you can see someone is like, ah, now I know. Now I'm okay. So when this happens, I feel so good. I feel like I'm a better person.
well,
So actually being a mentor in something that you find very meaningful, I think it makes your life better, your well-being better.
I honestly couldn't agree with you more, right? So I've been very privileged to mentor some of the yes entrepreneurs as well. But even more, I just want to highlight here that your stance on mentorship overall is that, we don't have to have one-on-one defined mentors, but if we're open to listening and to learning, we can receive mentorship from all around. And so it still sounds like you believe it is still very important, even if it's not just this 1v1, huh?
Right. So work on human connection. When you're open to people and create connections with them, you need to feel good about it, okay? So and you need to feel safe. That's very, very important. If there are some people that we don't feel so safe or we feel weird, we don't have to. That's fine. But with people that we feel that we want to become closer with and form some kind of connection, the world is so rich with brilliant minds, so the word out there is amazing. Just be open to it.
Be open to the world. Absolutely. It is. It's so rich. There's
Free.
so much to learn and to take in. Um, and wow, you speak about mentorship, it being good for oneself also, right? It's like happiness. You said the highest level of happiness is giving and seeing the impact. Through BizWorld, and yes, I mean it's been eight-ish years, so there's probably lots of instances, but I'm trying to think about stories maybe of like anything that comes to mind where you saw this breath of oxygen happen, or like you saw a real transformation in one of these young entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I have one really sweet story. Actually, it happened maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I sat at a coffee shop with my friend, just having a conversation. Then I saw alumni, yes, BizWorld alumni, standing there, and she was like, "Lital." I'm like, she was sitting with her dad at the same coffee shop. She had a break from college. She just came from college. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you." And we hugged, and I was so proud to present her to my friend and just say, she's brilliant. She was a two-time winner at Yes Biz World. She got investors investing in her twice. I saw her dad. He was so proud. So we had this conversation, and you see the impact after years. I used to work with her when she was much, much younger. So it's been a few years, and then just see her coming from college, visiting home, and we had these happy moments when she's amazing. She's so successful. So just to see how Yes Bees World, gave them confidence and just now think about it. You can be like 20 years old with a professional background that so many people, twice, your age don't have. I think it's amazing. It's brilliant in my opinion what Yes Bees World, give these entrepreneurs eventually. So that's a great story, and to me it's always meet with them, see the growth. You always get to meet previous year's winners and people that come and visit a demo day, and you get to talk with them and you see how they built their confidence, the matureness of receiving feedback and become better human being. That to me, that's amazing. There's so many people much older than them who cannot receive feedback, that find it very, very difficult. You still being, and that's fine, in her shell, still have this glass ceiling above their head. And at such a young age, they break glass ceilings. This
Wow.
is this is a gift. So I love seeing it.
Amazing, amazing. I don't have much more to say other than that. What I take away is I'm constantly blown away by how BizWorld teaching entrepreneurship actually teaches all these like life skills, right? Like you just talked about, I mean, confidence, the biggest one, right? First off, for a student, still a college student, to go approach someone in public that's having like a discussion with another friend, I don't know, to a lot of people, it might not seem like a big thing, but like it's actually like, it can be a little nerve-wracking. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys had met a couple of years ago, but for her to be like, oh man, I hope she remembers me, or like, let me go say hello and thank her, that already shows confidence. And then the fact that you even mentioned as well that there's some older people, right, that aren't as open to feedback, or they don't have the same confidence that the Yes program at BizWorld is giving these young entrepreneurs. That always is just so amazing for me to hear because it's not just entrepreneurship skills, it's life skills that we're teaching, right?
Correct. And I work with so many adults that are not able to perform this way. And it doesn't matter. some of them are introverts. So I don't want people to assume that all of them are extroverts, people that, kids that used to stand on stages all day, like superstar kids. No, some of them are shy, go more on the introvert side, and still they found the best self version in them to express themselves. So it's not always easy, but they're willing to put the work and they have discipline. And that's why they're so successful now.
Phew, willing to put in the work and discipline. I think, yeah, that's something we all need to constantly
Yes.
keep learning more of, right? Um,
Yes.
so, here's a question that I'd written down. So, a lot of times there's very complex subjects when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to storytelling and pitching. How do you sort of adapt those very complex subjects so that's more relevant for a younger audience or younger entrepreneurs, or do you even need to?
Can you repeat the question? I'm not sure I understood.
Yeah, it's like so pitching and communication, right, can be very complex. How do
Mhm.
you maybe make it more accessible to younger audiences?
Mhm. So as the same as working with adults, you want to make sure, especially if you have variety of people in the audience and that you have different investors from different industries, you want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If they don't understand you, they will be disengaged and they're not going to invest in you or try to build relationships or maybe, for future opportunities, create future opportunities together. Keep it as simple as possible. Simple is a great thing. I love simplicity. Simplicity doesn't mean that it's not sophisticated, but the best delivery to me is, use conversational pace, use words that you use with people that you actually like and have a great conversation with. Uh, to me, keep it simple so everybody's on the same page, everybody understands this. That's the best way to go. Because once they don't understand what you're telling them, that's it. Because people subconsciously, let's talk about audience psychology here, subconsciously they might think, I'm not good at it. That's not my industry. I'm not smart enough. So
Mm,
if you expose me to a potential emotional pain, I will take a step back. So
nice.
once everything is simple and understood, I feel good as an audience about myself. Understand, great, and I keep engaging myself with the situation and the content.
What a great tip. I wasn't expecting that answer, right? So my answer of how do you adapt a complex idea for this younger audience, your answer is so perfect. It's like, no, it doesn't matter if it's a younger audience, who the audience is, make it about them. Keep it as simple as possible because you're so right. What did you say here, right? Like once you start to confuse people, um, if they disengage, right? If they don't understand, then they're going to immediately disconnect. Then you've
Right,
lost them. And so that's how you convey complex subjects to young entrepreneurs as well.
right. So number one, you need to know your audience.
Mm,
If you have an audience that is very specific, let's say you want to use medical terms, and then all the audience, you have doctors there, right? Doctors for
sure.
medicine, then it's fine. But
Yeah.
if you have so many people from different arenas, then even if everything is true, I don't understand, it becomes irrelevant to me. I'll play with my phone.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. If you don't understand, it immediately becomes irrelevant to you, huh?
Right.
So true. Uh, so as far as volunteering is concerned, what would you say to other potential volunteers to encourage them to sort of donate their time to BizWorld?
If you have you don't need to understand fully. If you feel in your gut that there is something there, just visit, just come as a visitor, as a guest to one of the events, or talk to one of the organizers, or reach out to me if you have any questions, and just have a sneak peek of what's going on. If you find it meaningful, if you find it potentially something that will make you feel good, and this is where you want to invest your voluntarily time, do that. So you don't have to fully commit yourself for the next 8 years, like what I've done. When I started, it was one time. Let's have one workshop, let's deliver one workshop and see how it goes. Then it was so much fun. And the young entrepreneurs came and asked so many questions. And I felt that what I gave them was valuable. And I wanted to give it to them because I saw the results. Then I connected myself more with this organization. So just come for one time, just, explore more. You don't have to engage yourself fully. Just come as a guest, see if you like it, take another step. No, that's fine.
Love that, right? That's sort of the walk before you run mentality. And that's
Right.
definitely how it is here at BizWorld, right? With volunteering. It's by no means right that you're here for 8 or 9 years. I think I've interviewed somebody else who has been with BizWorld for like 15
Wow.
years.
Amazing.
You can volunteer for one, 12-week session, right? Where it's like an hour a week. There's even less commitment opportunities as well.
Right.
But come give it a sneak peek, a try, and who knows, maybe 8 years later, you'll be here and just so excited about getting to work with these young entrepreneurs, huh?
And I think it tells you a lot that if, this is something that I don't have to do,
Mm.
right? It's a volunteering, I can call it volunteering work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just something that I want to do. And I've been staying here for 8 years now. It tells a lot about the organization, the work, the impact, the value that not only I'm giving, but receiving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The last question that I sort of outlined here, which you somewhat really already answered, but what transformation do you typically see in a participant's communication styles, maybe from the beginning of getting involved with BizWorld to the end of when they're involved with BizWorld Yes program?
In the beginning, great question. In the beginning, I see some confusion or people are, being shy, especially when I have a first conversation with a teenager. And then you can tell that they have something, they've done so many wonderful things, but then talking about the product that they invented or created, this is something else. Okay. So you
Mm.
can create something, but then you need to talk about it and you can see I see the gap. Okay, there's a great product, but then talking about it takes a moment, and then you see them in the end on demo day and you're like, wow, that's the same student now talking, explaining, looking at the camera, sharing the information, answer questions on the spot. This is just amazing. Yeah, it's amazing to witness it. So that's the starting point, and then the end result. There's still, same person. It's still the same student, but then you get the much better version of their authentic self.
Wow, you get the much better version of their authentic self, right? Because it is still the same person. You're
Same
just
person.
helping them to communicate their ideas, their thoughts. And it's end of day, right? It goes back to that sort of confidence that you're giving them to just share and show their true unique selves.
Just express themselves, and no matter, again, if you're introvert, extrovert, will find the best way to support you to, shine on stage.